Hi everyone, this is Miss P, and this is a review of how to calculate the volume of a composite rectangular prism. And all that means is that the shape looks like we have here. It has multiple pieces to it that can be broken apart into their own three-dimensional prisms. So when we're faced with a composite figure, like the one that you see here, the easiest way for us to calculate the volume of the entire three-dimensional object is to break apart the composite shape into smaller pieces that are more easily calculated. In this case, we can simply pull the shape apart so that we have a prism that makes up the top portion of the shape and a prism that makes up the bottom portion of the shape. As we know, to find the volume of any three-dimensional shape, we have to multiply the length times width times height of the shape. Well, in this case, when we've broken the composite prism into two separate pieces, what we have to do is calculate the volume of each individual piece and add the partial volume of the top piece to the partial volume of the bottom piece. I like to think of this as taking the first piece's volume, V1, and adding it to the second piece's volume, which is V2, which will give us ultimately our total volume of the composite figure. So in this case, we're going to start with taking the top portion of this shape here and multiplying the volume of that partial section of the composite figure. And in this case, the top portion of the figure is actually a cube. So to find the partial volume, we're simply going to multiply 4 times 4 times 4. And in this case, we should know that 4 times 4 equals 16, and we're going to need to multiply that by 4. We can go ahead and complete that problem off to the side. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 2 is 6. 16 times 4 is 64. So the partial volume of the first part of this prism is going to be 64 cubic inches. Now that we know that the volume of the top portion of this composite figure is 64 cubic inches, we are now going to calculate the partial volume of the bottom part of this composite figure here. So in this case, we're going to be looking for the partial volume of this section of the figure. So we're going to go ahead and multiply length times width times height. We're going to call 12 inches the length, so 12 times, we'll call 4 inches the width, and then we'll call 6 inches the height here. So this section of the figure is 12 times 4 times 6 inches. We can multiply 6 times 4, which gives us 24, and we can multiply that times 12. 24 times 12, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 2 is 4, 1 times 4 is 4, gotta leave our placeholder there, 1 times 2 is 2, and if we add that up, we get 288. So our volume of our second section of our composite figure is 288 cubic inches. Remember, if we're going to find the total volume of the composite figure, we have to add the partial volume of the first section of the composite figure to the partial volume of the second section of the composite figure. So we'll go ahead and take our 288 cubic inches and add it to 64. So we're going to add the two partial volumes together. 8 plus 4 is 12. 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 1 is 15, 2 plus 1 is 3, 352. So our total volume of this composite figure is going to be 352 cubic inches.